Cody Alexander, match quarters, going to break down the last play of the Miami versus Los Angeles Chargers game. This was a sack. It ended the game and sealed the deal for the Miami Dolphins. There's a lot of moving parts, but it's a great five-man pressure that attacked the way the Chargers were setting their protection. Let's break it down. Here's the pressure that sealed the victory for the Dolphins. We have an overload side away from the trips. What the Dolphins are trying to do is get the Chargers to check into a slide lock. They want the slide to come to the boss side. Now, boss is also referred to an overload side. So what we have here really is about 5 defenders all near the box. The reduction or the proximity of the receivers allow the Dolphins to really hide this pressure. Now, there are a couple of tells to tell you that they're probably is going to be a dime pressure. When two defenders stack each other, that typically means one of them is going to come on a blitz. So pre-snap, you should have been able to tell this field safety or the strong safety is sneaking down towards the box. You have a dime who is really tight to the X, and he is going to go through the B gap. Now, the beauty in this pressure is twofold. No matter what, this pressure was probably going to hit home because of the protection the Chargers chose. So the Chargers are going to slide to the overload side. And again, this is why you set an overload front. You want an overload front to bring the protection that way because you're going to attack the B gap, which is highlighted in yellow here. You're going to get a cop by the strong side defensive end, and your dime or the overhang directly outside of the box is going to penetrate the B gap. The guard here is going to slide to the noses side, expecting somebody to come this way. And that's exactly what ends up happening. We have a not stunt, so nose first. He's going to be the penetrator. He's going to work vertical. He's going to attack that A gap and try and climb as much as he possibly can. And then the tackle is going to step, and then he's going to loop back. Now, you would think if they even have combo protection, so we get a half slide here, and then the guard, the left guard of the Chargers slides over here to pick up the dime, you're still going to get the tackle free because the nose is going to penetrate. He's going to eat the center's block, and then you're going to get a loop. So now the open gap is going to shift to the A gap. So this is the beauty within this call, especially on this down. It was a long yardage down. They understood that they were going to have to play a vertical passing game. So they played cover one to protect the post. They played off coverage with the corners and both corners. And the only people that were really pressing was the nickel who knew that, hey, at the end of the day, if I get a vertical, I'm going to funnel it into the middle of the post and I have help. So this is why they chose a 5-man pressure. You still have decent coverage, but you're going to then get an attack. You have a Mike linebacker who's going to hug rush the A gap. So when you get this check release by the running back, the mic is kind of right here hovering. So if there's a screen, if they happen to do anything of that nature, he's right there to eat that running back. So again, going from the beginning, we have a slide protection. The tackle is actually going to work across the slide because of the penetration by the nose guard. You now have the guard picked in the center 8. So there's no one here. The left guard sees the loop back. So he sees the loop of the tackle and ends up eating it. And there is no one for the dime here, and he ends up penetrating the B gap and making the sack, ending the game. And let's break it down even further. Here you see the exact same setup that we had in the diagram. We have our load front to the offense's right. We're going to get slide protection. So as the play goes, you can see right now that the left guard is going to push. So we have a 4-man slide here, which I call slide lock. The gap you want to penetrate in slide lock is the B gap, which is exactly what we're going to get. We're going to get a deep set by the defensive end that brings this tackle. The left guard starts to see this loop back. He doesn't have time. He does see the dime, but again, the quarterback is responsible for him. So he eats up the loop back, which leaves nobody for this dime, and he ends up meeting the other defensive end because the right tackle doesn't deep set deep enough. We get the fish hook, we get the collapsing of the pocket, and we get the dime. So you can see that they're funneling the quarterback in there. As we look at the coverage downfield, we see that everybody is in man coverage with a post player, and then we have the linebacker eating the back on a hug rush. So at the very beginning, again, you see the slide to the load side. You see the 3 technique pop back. The left guard does see the dime coming, but he decides to take the person closest to him, which is the 3 technique working back. He ends up eating that. You can see the nice funnel, the alley in the B gap. We get a great rush on the outside here by the defensive end, and the dime and the defensive end meet the quarterback, make a quarterback sandwich. Game over. Dolphins win. Let's take a look at the play from the top. As you can see here, the Chargers are going to go with a full slide, opening the gap for the dime, who meets the defensive end on the other side. So as you can see, regardless of what the Chargers protection was going to be, this was probably going to hit home, especially with man coverage, knowing that you have to have vertical columns in the passing game. You want to be able to attack the offense, but safely. And that's where a 5-man pressure comes into play. You know you're going to play off coverage. You know you're going to play catch mentality with everybody. So you're not going to get that, quick dagger of a fade route outside away from the post player. The looping back made sure that even if they did full slide it, that you are going to get some sort of, even if the dime misses it and Herbert steps up, now you have the loop to contain with the 3 technique. Both edge rushers were pressing and compressing that. You can see everything funneling together. It's a beautiful pressure and a great way and a great call to end the game for the Dolphins.